I'm an associate professor at City University of Hong Kong. We're in the accounting department here, and I've been here for 8 years and currently director of the Master of Arts International Accounting. And in that program there are 2 core courses that I'm involved in teaching. That's the International Management Accounting and Research Methods in Accounting. I'm also been involved in undergraduate teaching in management accounting at Year 1 and Year 2 level. Currently, most of my time is spent in postgraduate teaching. And of course, we all know at this level we're heavily involved in undertaking research, and my main research focus here is in management accounting in both foreign enterprises and Chinese enterprises in China. My coursework project started about 12 months ago. There are actually 3 of them I'd like to explain. The first one was a book on international management accounting, and the focus of that coursework project was to develop the references, to upgrade all of the reference list, and which was a major task because we had over 180 references that had to be cross-checked. And where that led to was that the teaching material went for publication as a book, and I'm proud to say that it has been accepted with McGraw-Hill for coming out as a published book next year. So that was the International Management Accounting book that we had our first courseware project on. The second one was the development of a message board database. Over the last 4 years in research methods, I've encouraged the students to ask questions and have discussion on an online message board. And every year we tended to begin the message board from afresh, and I realised that we're getting nearly 1,000 messages posted every year. And so after 3 years I thought, why can't we put these messages into a edited manual, or in a way where people can access this under different subject headings and learn about research method issues that students are facing or solutions that students are finding when they're studying research methods. And for postgraduate level studies, this is a very important knowledge base. So that was the second courseware project, and that involved getting helpers to take the 3,000 plus messages and putting them into a single format, and secondly to put them into different subject headings, and that was very challenging. So I think there's a chance to make that go further and put that online, where the research postgraduate students in Hong Kong can access that. The final one was the research methods book, and that came out of the same course, Research Methods in Accounting, that I teach, and I have been compiling my teaching notes, which have gradually come into a manual/book. And the courseware project was focused on getting the formatting right. And maybe we would talk about it later, but one of the challenges for teachers is moving from teaching material to a consistent formatting manual, because when we have teaching materials from week to week, we don't consider too much about the difference in formatting that the materials may be in. But when it comes to putting them together into one concise manual, we see the formatting difference, and the students see that too, and so that's a very important issue that needs to be dealt with. The help is in getting that gap between in the teaching material, we got week by week teaching material, and moving it into a concise manual. As I said earlier, getting that formatting right of the teaching material. We have all lecturers, all professors, we have our weekly teaching material. We have stacks of material. Moving that into a manual format requires a lot of hours of tedious work, cross-checking, making sure that the week-to-week material is in the same format. And we, as lecturers, professors, we have a tendency to just group the material week to week, and each week's material will grow by Topsy, and sometimes we lose a sense of the formatting that changes from week to week in the material that we have. So the collaborative projects, actually all three of them, helped mainly in the area of formatting and getting all that material into a consistent pose for the students. When they actually see the material, it looks professional and it comes across as being more professional. So the collaborative project helped me in actually filling that gap, actually getting from teacher material into a formative manual stage. It's been challenging and both rewarding, and I think not only for me but also for the students that have been involved in the project. They get to learn how to do new tasks, listening skills and all of that. From me, it's been very helpful because in putting the application together to get the coursework project grant, I've had to think about, okay, what specific task could I get one or two students to work on for 100 or 120 hours? So what task could I give them to do? And that made me think very specifically, is there something that someone can come along and spend 120 hours on, and that could really help me move my teaching from a B grade standard, the teaching materials, to an A grade standard in terms of presentation. So the content's always there. It's about getting that presentation improvement when we give those materials to the students. I think I could say that the impact could be twofold. The first is we're thinking about at the postgraduate level, these materials have been designed for. There is a greater demand for professional materials. The students are now paying full fees for postgraduate studies in Hong Kong. That's a fact. And so part of that reality is that we need professional materials to support our teaching when we go into the classroom. So I think, number one, that's very important. The second impact is helping me fill the gap as a teacher and a researcher. At the postgraduate level, we're always researching the latest material in terms of doing our research. When we come into the postgraduate class, we can bring that research into the class, but we need materials to supplement that research in terms of the case studies and other explanatory material that goes with that research. And I think in those two ways, the coursework project can have a significant impact in improving our teaching and in actually improving the professionalism in the way that we teach at the postgraduate level in the university. A very interesting point about difficulties in managing the courseware projects. I've managed 3 of them now, and I think the first, second and third, each of them were provided a different learning stage, and I was able to manage the last one much better than the first. I think one of the difficulties I have was in selecting the right students, and I found that selecting students that actually studied at the same campus where they were doing the courseware project provided a greater goal congruence, because the students saw that what they were working for was in the same institution as where they were studying. So that helped the students. It helped in the managing of the students. So I think overcoming the difficulty of the first project where we had students in another university and they had to travel to this university to work, that was overcoming the other projects where we got students from the same university. I think that would be the main difficulty. The second main difficulty, as I did mention earlier, was in the tasks. Making very clear that the 100, 120 hours that the students would work for you was very task focused. And I think that's the role of the project coordinator, to make very clear at the outset what those tasks the students had to do. about the suggestions for those who have not been involved. I'd highly recommend it. It helps you focus a bit more about materials that you may have. We all have teaching materials. This is not about creating new materials. This project, at the very minimum, can be about making your current materials better. And there are various ways that your current materials can be made better without you having to do very much. And as I've explained earlier, they can be made better by just improving the formatting or getting all the materials into a consistent software platform. In those ways, that requires minimum time on you and supervision, and the students that are involved in the Courseware project, they can just work on the task. They know very clearly what has to be done, and at the end of the project you have a higher level of quality of your teaching materials. So it's always your responsibility as an instructor, teacher, to make sure that the content is up to date. This Courseware project, I think, has a significant chance to improve the presentation of the teaching material. So I think it's a chance, number one, to improve the presentation, the formatting, the professionalism of the material. Number two, it also gives students a chance to learn some new skills, and that does help in the long run. So it's a two-way thing. It requires a commitment on the part of the teacher and instructor to find a specific task for improvement of the teaching material. And on the other side, it does help the students that are involved. They are committed to a task that they will be rewarded after they finish the task. And so their ability to become a great employee in the future in their chosen profession is enhanced, because their enhancement of their abilities comes through the successive commitments of various tasks. And this Courseware project is just another avenue of providing students to challenge themselves with commitments. So I think in those two ways, the Courseware project, I would encourage those teachers, professors who have not yet taken the chance for the Courseware project to do so.